My name's Aaron. Welcome back to my channel. How are you? I'm fantastic and I'm doing really well. And today I am reviewing Absolu Aventus by the House of Creed. This is £320 for 70ml. Set your senses free with the limited edition Absolu Aventus, an intoxicating new fragrance from the House of Creed. This one-of-a-kind masterpiece introduces a burst of citrus energy to exquisitely French grapefruit that beckons to the sophisticated woods of Haitian vetiver, adding an elegant dimension of smoke to the pineapple and patchouli heart, deepening a richly layered longevity. The special limited edition Absolu Aventus is a striking interpretation of the iconic fragrance and is destined to become an unforgettably unique experience for true connoisseurs. Please note, due to the limited availability, no more than 3 bottles can be purchased per customer. We reserve the right to cancel any orders. So the head notes are bergamot, lemon, blackcurrant, grapefruit and ginger. I like all the graphics on the site. The heart notes are pineapple, patchouli, pink pepper, cardamom and cinnamon. Base notes are Haitian vetiver, cashmere, wood, lavender, ambroxan, musk and oak moss. Do you have bottles of Creed Absolu Aventus? Are we engaged with the high self? Let's get testing. So the presentation, I really love it. I think it's an absolute step up from the other boxes, which can feel a bit cheap for an expensive fragrance. It's attention to detail, like the silver signature. This is like, to design, packaging and all the rest of it takes a lot of time and thought, and it's very time consuming because you have to get samples, you have to okay the samples, you send it back off. Feels weighty and more sturdy. The other boxes can feel flimsy. So the bottle is housed in a hat box, and I've seen online that a lot of people think it's kind of cheap, kind of whatever because of the font, but when you're looking at it up close, I think it's very nice. It's definitely your attention to detail. It feels weighty. A lot of it's sort of embossed on the bottom. I prefer it to the classic Aventus, shall we say, the classic range. The weight of the cap as well. The Aventus packaging, for the amount they're asking, has always felt a little bit bastica. I like weighty products. I think luxurious products feel weighty. It's those attention to details, the weight of the cap. This feels like a luxurious product. I think it's definitely a step up. I'd love to see the whole range going into, this. But I love the weight in it. The other caps always sort of felt a little bit cheap, to be honest. Especially the plastic ones, the flimsy ones. And the label as well, there's no more of that horrible peeling off of the label, because that always to me looked a bit not really finessed, and sometimes no quality control. You want sort of straight edges and things, but it feels nice. So we're going to go into the atomizer now. Standard. I'm kind of excited. I've seen online that people are saying that this is like the Dior Sauvage Elixir mixed with Creed Aventus. I think they're two totally different companies, and I think the way that Dior make fragrances is not how Creed make fragrances. They are completely separate and different. Creed is much more light and airy, sillage to it, and always a clean sort of core with it. Sauvage is just full throttle, sort of ambroxan, heavy musks, heavy duty fragrances. To me, Dior's always been longer lasting, but Sauvage has got that beautiful sort of sillage and that beautiful lift to it. That's kind of what you're paying for. So I'm not expecting them to be, what was it, someone says 70% one and 30% the other. I kind of don't believe that. I can sort of smell it. Anyway, enough babbling, and we're testing. I think it's very nice, but I think it's mass appealing. Not too much of this, not too much of this. Perfectly sort of centric. It feels more weight. It feels more substantial. There's sort of like more of a substantial nature to it. The vetiver is giving it beautiful sort of green finish. There's a bit more greenness to it, which is the vetiver. The spices in it are slight. So whereas Sauvage Elixir is sort of full throttle spicy, this is giving you sort of at the end, you sort of get the Creed Aventus, then you sort of get sort of spices at the end. It's sort of very mild. I love the vetiver, so this is the vetiver, the vanillin, the ethyl malt or whipping for the base to sweeten it. Vetiver can be unpalatable. It's not so pineapple-y like Aventus is always sort of more, pineapple and sort of all of that. This is sort of toned down. You can still sort of smell it, but it's sort of like in the background, smouldering and coming up through. Light, airy, substantial. So this is based upon Hedione. So Hedione, ambroxan, Icy Super, clean musks, lily of the valley raw materials, and some fruit molecules. Vetiver, patchouli. Interesting, they said patchouli heart. And patchouli heart is a fermentation raw material, and it's a fraction of patchouli. So it's sort of been cleaned up, and it's sort of, when you get sort of advanced in perfumery, you start looking for specific fractions of raw materials. I ask for a lot of fractions actually, because I love, it gives you specific cleanness to it, or gives you specific sort of raw material. And patchouli has extra light patchouli, aged patchouli, patchouli heart, healing wood. All these are different sort of types of patchouli. I really like patchouli heart. I also like extra light patchouli. I like dark patchouli. I like, depending on what I'm going for, would be what sort of patchouli that I'm going for. But the patchouli heart is lighter, missing out, I think, the terpenes from it. Patchouli sometimes can be so dark, it can be dominant or overtake a formula. But patchouli heart, softer sort of patchouli, cleaner patchouli. And with the vetiver, it's sort of really, really gorgeous. Substantial, airy, sillage. Onto my final thoughts. I love it. I think it's super fantastico. I'll be comparing it to the Aventus and the Aventus cologne in the next video to see what the difference is, to see what it's like. But on my arm, I can sort of smell it moving. I think it's really eloquent. I have no idea why it's limited edition. Please leave your comments below if you know why it's limited edition. It seems a shame, because from my thought processes, I prefer it to the normal Aventus. I'll know in a minute, but normal Aventus has always been a little bit too top heavy. And as we know, apparently in the batch variation is kind of all over the place. Some are more smoky, some are sweeter, some are more vanilla-y. The ones I smelled two, the variation was weird. So one was really, really pink peppercorn and citrus and not much else. And the other one was sort of base heavy. And I know Chris has got one which is kind of like very, very rich and dark. So kind of, I don't know why there's that batch variation. But I kind of love it. I think it's very nice. It sort of smells a bit more intense, which is kind of what you want, but still keeping with the light and airy. But thinking about the mark on my head, and I really like this. I would wear this one because it's more sort of heavy and it's sort of radiating from my skin. And I kind of love the packaging. I love the weighted bottle. I love everything. And for this, I'm sort of thinking about, do I like it? Would I change it? No, I think it's perfect as it is. I love the sort of slight spicy nature. I think it's perfectly balanced. I can thoroughly recommend this one. I wouldn't change it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, sort of perfumery. I really love it. Smells enough like Aventus to be in the family. You kind of know what it is, but sort of smells different enough to be interesting. In this aspect, I'm going to mark it a 10. I think it's really great. I think it fits the brief. Money, kind of, it is what it is. If it's limited edition, I think it's sort of great price. If it went on and on and on, I think it would be too expensive, if that makes sense. So if this was in their family forever, I think, oh gosh, that's quite a lot. But limited editions are special, never going to be repeated, one run generally. I think it's lovely. I kind of thoroughly enjoying it. To me, it's really balanced, not too sweet, not too smoky, not too spicy. You can wear it to any occasion. I think in the summer it would be insane. In the winter, I think it'd be nice as well. It's got like a nice sensuality to it. I think it's great. So if you love that review, thumbs up and subscribe for fascinating, interesting content, lots of moving hands, and lots of fragrance views. Hope you stay safe and well. See you soon.